Real Talk with Rajon.
Hello world and welcome back to Real Talk with Rajon, when nothing's off limits. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you are here with me and I appreciate that. I am your host, Rajon Lewis. Now, here on Real Talk with Rajon, anything's debatable, so on any given week, we could be discussing anything from sports to music to politics. You name it, we'll discuss it. Now, for those who are new to the show, I break my show down really into sections normally. Normally we start out with, cheers, which is shout outs to everybody who's doing great things. Like we see you. I'll tell you what that means.
I see what
you see what I'm saying? You see what I did there?
I see you.
You see?
Did that.
All right, cool. So the next segment is also current events and topics, and then the family/relationship segment is what normally happens. But tonight we're breaking protocol, and tonight we are talking about the end of the year. Today is December 29th, 2019. That means that in about 2 days, the clock's going to strike 12, and we will be in the new year 2020, the year of vision for those who are exogenically involved.
I'm gonna be taking that word from there so I can sound smart.
Do it,
Find
man.
the SAT words you just use.
I'm just saying.
Exogenically.
I don't know, but I know in church they'll say, if I was to use my exegetical license, I would say that Jesus, the ability to be able to break down words.
Is that like Latin origin?
I have no idea. I heard my pastor use it a few times, and I thought it was really dope.
Is your pastor Latin
I never
origin?
use-
I
I never use Facebook.
You never use Facebook?
I never use Facebook.
This is great.
And then the one time I do use Facebook, I mistakenly click on the first story I see. I went to high school with this person. That's why I don't use Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be fun. Yo.
Is that the OnlyFans joint?
No,
right?
I have no idea.
Y'all are hysterical. All right, so let's just get right into it, man. First of all, I want to introduce you to the gentlemen that are on my left and my right. Please introduce yourself to the audience for those who don't know who you are.
Michael, one half of the children of the internet. Let's see, what else do you need to know about me? Columbia native. Let's see, 2-parent household. Have my own household, blessed be thee, that has allowed such blessings to come through because I threw them up. That being that prayer that I brought up. And then guess what?
Came down.
Right?
Rain down on me?
In that fashion. In that fashion. I like when my blessings come down. I like when the drip comes down. Thank you.
This guy's funny. Like I told you, this will be a fun one. Who are you?
My name is Byron. Byron Melvin. I am a Columbia native. Currently reside in Charleston, South Carolina, North Charleston to be exact. And just here for a good time.
So the Children of the Internet podcast, let's talk about that. Let's get into what that is, because I want to talk about stuff, but first I want to establish why you guys are here. Because first of all, I want to go ahead and just say, Children of the Internet podcast, probably pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts. They have one of the most amazing podcasts. I listen to them as soon as they come out. Byron, I know Byron from mentoring. Mm-hmm. He's actually one of the mentors of the Distinguished Gentlemen's Club Mentoring Program, property of Low Country Youth Services. Shout out to you for doing that, sir. He's also a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, and that's how I know him. Yeah. And Mike is the other half of the Children of the Internet podcast. Extremely dope fella. He likes to cook and do yard work and stuff.
Yeah, and he's part of a fraternity as well.
Oh,
Beta Delta.
Yeah.
What's that? What is that?
Go ahead and say it, bro. You might say it better than me.
He's part of the fraternity as well, so that's cool. Yeah, so 2 fraternity guys linked up and did a podcast together. So
what is Beta Delta?
Listen, you might not want to say that too loud. Good things don't happen to people that say that.
Oh,
the Untitled Chapter of Alpha Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Yes.
Oh, okay. He's an alpha. Yeah. No, why did you say he's alpha? Because you're part of Xi Phi Lambda.
I am.
Because the thing about me, I'm Beta Delta first, then it's Alpha.
Oh. Yeah. Segregation within the congregation. Yeah. I see.
Chapterism at its finest.
I see. All right, so let's get into it, man. I actually had looked up some stuff that I wanted to talk about for the new year. So I want to start with you guys. Like 2019, before we even go back, reach back all the way back into 2010. That's a long time ago. I mean, shoot, 2010, we barely had Drake. So, 2019, what are you going to remember most about 2019?
Can I say it first?
Yes, please.
It was a trash year.
Yeah. For music, especially.
Yes. I mean, now granted.
Trash all together.
Yeah. I mean, there was still some hits here and there. But for the most part, some of my favorite artists, and I think recently I finally compiled my best of, and 2 artists in particular, it just hurt me to say they were my meh albums of the year.
Who that?
Crit was first.
Okay.
I'm so sorry to say that. What was it? The Crit was here. What
Crit was here.
Crit was here. Yeah.
It was like, no, Crit. This is not what we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
God, can we curse?
I mean, they're adults to watch.
Gosh darn you, Rico Love. You ruined this album. I understand what you were trying to do of knowing for us as being a Crit fans to know what he should be in that branding of when people say your top 3 artists are Kendrick, Cole, Drake. Crit should be there too because he put together the same type of material, quality, the whole 9. But for this, it just didn't work. And then the second one was definitely Schoolboy Q. Crash Talk. That it hurt. I mean, I had my own little rant on the episode of.
You did.
I think I put my own my Conspiracy Joe hat on that one.
Yeah.
Where I was like, it was either a money grab. He really didn't have anything together. He was probably just compiling some stuff together. Now, granted, he was still going through the stuff of Mac passing and the whole 9 of just trying to find that next thing. And then I think when he finally got out of that funk, he finally put out was it Num Num Juice, which was still a top 5 single for me, a video too. But I think once I heard every other single after that, I'm like, no. This is terrible. Chopsticks is horrible.
Yeah.
No. And it more so it's like you've done songs with Travis Scott before and it's been amazing.
Yeah.
So how did we get this? And no. So
Schoolboy Q and Crit let you down. All right. Who let you down in 2019? I mean, or who built you up in 2019? Like, go for it.
Well, I'll start with I'll start with Nate. Chance the Rapper let me down.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chance.
I mean, Chance let everybody down in 2019. Even folks that aren't Chance fans. I mean, Chance is that one person. I believe Joe Budden said in his last podcast where it was like the safe rapper.
Yeah.
If you say you like Chance, like no one's gonna argue.
Right.
No one's gonna
Yeah,
say,
it was hard to
Chance
say.
Is trash. You know.
I mean, even if you listen to the episode of the Joe Budden podcast when Chance was on it, like it made you more of a fan of him.
It did. It really did. Cause I was like,
definitely.
damn, I really like this Chance guy.
Yeah.
But Chance let us down not only with the album, but with the reception of the album.
Mm-hmm.
When folks said they didn't like it, Chance
he got upset.
He literally went on Twitter and was like, so y'all just want me to kill myself.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
So
if you didn't catch that, you need to check that out.
So not only do I not like Chance anymore, I can't like he's in my eyes he's irredeemable. Like you can't come back from that now. Like I'm never gonna forget about that because I'm like if Chance puts out another album and gets like mediocre reviews.
Yeah.
In this case it got terrible reviews, but if it gets mediocre reviews, he's like, is he gonna like kill himself? Like,
yeah, I hope
is
he does
suicide
not.
gonna go across his mind?
I hope it does not.
He put no effort into this album, so he let me down more than anyone. But music in general, like, let me down this whole year. I can't think of any. I discovered some new artists, but those were people I was looking out for, But
like, so I mean, who popped up to you?
Kenny Mason, Baby Keem, Duke Deuce.
yes.
I've never heard of any of these people.
Yeah,
they sound amazing though.
Throw in Doja Cat too.
Well, we discovered Doja Cat last year with the Move.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm jumping ahead though. But
yeah, I started listening to Rico Nasty this year, so I started listening to Tierra Whack this year.
Okay.
I got more into No Name than I was in previous years, even though I've always been a big fan.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know Jeffrey. I've been in him pretty big this year.
Okay.
A lot of Memphis rap, but I mean, even with all those good things that happened, it's a terrible year for music. Like,
it was a bad year for music.
Lost Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah.
Like
Lost Nipsey. Yeah.
So and
Nipsey became a superstar this year.
Yes. So he did both. So I believe with Marathon was Marathon, right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe with Marathon, like it was a great album. Like
I'm sorry, Victory Lap.
Victory Lap.
Victory
My
Lap,
bad.
yeah.
Victory Lap was a great album. And I feel like Victory Lap is the one that was gonna put him in that place where if somebody said, give me some good Nipsey Hussle to listen to, you'd have had something. But I don't think Nipsey Hussle wasn't like at a legendary status at that point in time and everything. But he was definitely on the way. As you can hear with all the artists that put out music with him, before he died, and all these tracks that are coming out now.
Yeah.
But it's just he didn't have,
He
was taken away in his prime. Like he was on the verge.
No,
and then,
I agree. He
Yeah.
was right there. I mean, I think when you look at Nipsey Hussle's passing, I look at it more along the lines like Big L passing.
Yeah.
Like everybody always says, what Big L could have been if he would have lived. People are like, well, Big L would have been bigger than Jay, and I was like, would he? But that's something. Now we never know. And I think Nipsey Hussle's really gonna fall into that because when people die, we automatically God them. Like people die and then they become rap gods.
And then nobody else can be great. It's like, oh, but you ain't gonna be Nipsey.
You never will be Nipsey. You can't be Pop.
Exactly.
Right.
You're not gonna bring to the get culture what Pop brought to the culture. Like,
and then
How
we
did
lost.
Hope say something got me out here fighting ghosts?
oh yeah, he said on 444.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we lost Juice WRLD as well. So
Yeah.
Juice WRLD, another artist who's like he was only what 21,
He was really young.
really young. So
He was on his way to die at some point though.
yeah. Well, yeah, a lot of rappers that are on drugs are definitely like
Yeah, I mean,
you know
yeah,
yeah, or rappers that rap about drugs. Who knows like what he was really into in his private life?
yeah.
It only revealed itself in his passing. But
Yeah.
at the same time, like he had a lot of good hits under his belt. Like
Yeah.
he had done like some great. He has a solid body of work for such a new artist. Like he already had that tape with
With Future.
Yeah, he had that tape with Future, which was pretty decent. It wasn't the best thing in the world, but it was pretty decent. Those seem like two artists that would like Juice WRLD reminds me a lot of Future in a lot of ways.
Well, I mean,
you know what
I think that's by design, and that's for me. That's one of the developments of since 2010 that has really happened in music is really the development of drug culture, like the shift of drug culture. You know, you look at like back in the 80s, it was like we're gonna party, but we're not gonna use drugs, and then in the 90s, then there were the drug dealers, and then in like the 2010 to now, like the drug, like we use drugs, it's our jam. Like that became like the wave.
I don't think there's anything new under the sun. Everything works in cycles.
No,
So,
but they didn't rap about
the
using
drug
the
use.
drugs.
Yeah, they rap about it now, but the drug users aren't new.
Well, no,
they've
I'm
been
saying
doing
no.
coke and
No, but I'm
rap.
not saying they weren't using it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying when I'm talking about the music. So
I don't know. There was white lines,
but they were clowning it though.
No, they
were
weren't.
like, I love using drugs. Tell them smoking crack.
Yeah.
Here we go, giving it all. Like they weren't doing. You know what I mean?
They were more coy about it.
I mean, I'm just saying when you talk about the way the culture was pushed in the beginning, it was it was like the old school. They weren't talking like they're talking people using drugs. Like shoot, the Message had people talking about drugs.
Yeah.
But they were talking like, yo, I see junkies on the street. This is bad.
Yeah,
Now
but
we're like,
but-
we're junkies. This is great.
But when they referred to junkies, they were talking about people that were like that couldn't control their high. They were getting high too, though. That's the thing, though.
Right.
Yeah,
But that's the thing.
but they just weren't
There's
rapping
a lot of
about. They weren't weren't glorifying.
Right,
I guess
right,
that's
right.
the only thing. But
There was a lot of members of a big rap group that was definitely putting a little dust on their weed.
Yeah.
I'm not
And you
gonna
find
say.
that-
I won't say what group it was though, but they
Feel
definitely-
free. We can say that here.
which group was it?
Do you know them?
I'm not.
Are they probably listening?
Did they wear Adidas suits?
Probably did.
Are they listening? Who
Run
was it?
DMC. He said
Wait,
Run DMC.
Say it. Who was it?
I was gonna say it was Run DMC, but it was definitely what was it? A couple members out of Wu-Tang was definitely doing it.
Oh,
Oh,
definitely.
come on,
Okay.
man, come
I mean,
on.
everybody.
ODB was
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. But I mean, but even that though, I mean, I think when you look at it, like this would go before, of course, 2010. But you'd be looking at like I think like 666 Mafia is like the first group I can remember that really
glorified,
like the
like
mainstream,
cocaine
yeah.
and
That were like,
pills and
yo,
all
we
that
doing
stuff.
this, like,
Yeah.
we popping pills, we sipping lean. We're like, this is what we're about.
Yeah.
Stay trippy, man. Get with us.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, so I think really a lot of the artists, and Bomani Jones talks a lot about this. He talks about the fact that
Bomani Jones.
Bomani's dope. He talks about the fact that that like so much of the artists that have come out in the last year, 2 years, 3 years really have that 3-6 Mafia sound when it comes when you everything from the beats to the cadence that they use. So shout out to 3-6 Mafia for influencing the drug culture and for influencing the music that's being made in 2019.
I mean, 3-6 Mafia. I
Such
think
a beautiful double-edged sword.
you really
It
have to
is.
be. You really have to know your hip hop to be able to respect 3-6 Mafia because everything they did, they literally started it from the ground up. They didn't borrow anything from anyone. Of course, they got accused of it. They got accused of stealing from Bone Thugs and Harmony. They also got accused of stealing things from other guys in Memphis and stuff like that. That's why they beef.
Shout out to Tommy Rick III.
That's why they beef with so many different people. But at the same time, it's like they started so many things from the ground up. Where it's like you hear a lot of samples that a lot of people hear like use now, like ho and all that stuff. It's like all that comes from 3-6 Mafia. It's like all So I think that's dope because I've been a huge 3-6 Mafia fan forever. No drugs. I'm not on any drugs.
Thank you.
Yeah, so just
This is a drug-free podcast.
Yeah, just let you know, 3-6
Wait
Mafia.
till our podcast starts popping off.
Yeah, it's like
In there.
yeah.
on the podcast.
Yeah, just
No, let's talk about it today.
it's like wait till you tune into the podcast where we're just nodded off the whole time. Like, yeah, I said thank y'all. This
Sleeping.
it's like a 2-hour podcast.
That's
like,
hysterical.
And it still got skits in it. Like
Speaking
at
of,
the right time.
So
too.
speaking of heavy drug use, I'm going to sort of twist it a little bit. I know we started 2019. We're going to bounce around a little bit. I'm cool with that.
That's fine.
So I just rewatched Wolf of Wall Street, which is actually one of the movies that came out. I think Wolf of Wall Street came out in 20. Yeah. Wolf of Wall Street came out in 2013, right? So 2013, like the amount of drug use. Like I watched that movie again. One, the movie's amazing.
It is.
That's an amazing movie. Two, it's 98% true.
Yeah.
And you watch, like, you read about it and stuff. So the story of Jordan Belfort. If you haven't seen Wolf of Wall Street,
it's based off the recountants from Jordan Belfort.
Yeah.
So I mean, how true can it be?
I mean, it's sold.
I mean, of course it's so. It's
Sell me
the
a
Martin
pen.
Scorsese,
Sell
but
me
it's
a pen.
like exactly like watching Wolf of Wall Street, which I love that movie.
Yeah.
By the way. Watching it, and then at the end, find out like Jordan Belfort was like heavily, like and like they went to him to get the whole story and everything.
Yeah.
From his own
Yeah.
recounting of like how it happened. I'm like, yeah.
So you think if the agent would have written it, it would have came from a different angle?
I think it would have been a lot different if you had a lot more people.
I mean, he didn't put himself in the best light the whole movie. So I mean, if it was
but-
like, look how great I am, guys. It was like, nah, like I'm a junkie.
He still seemed pretty damn cool. That whole
He
movie.
did
I
seem
can't
pretty
lie.
cool.
He seemed like the coolest junkie I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Like,
he
if you got to choose to be a junkie, you'll choose to be Jordan Belfort.
I
Like,
agree. I agree. Is there any junkie that you would rather be? Jordan Belfort.
No, that pretty much takes the cake.
That's pretty much it.
And more so the fact he's still here. Yeah, I think that pretty much.
He made it.
Yeah,
He made it.
yeah.
Like if you were talking about junkies to be,
I can't think of
Like,
any other.
cause was he technically? No, he wasn't billionaire status, but he was.
He was really rich.
He had fun coupons.
yeah,
So,
fun,
yeah,
fun
yeah.
coupons.
Yeah, so
Who used fun coupons? Joe Biden used fun coupons on an episode the other day.
Yeah.
The last one. That's fun coupons. If you haven't seen Wolf of Wall Street, that's one of the ones I would recommend if you're trying to see the best movies from 2010 to 2019 to 2020, I guess. Wolf of Wall Street's on that list, but we're gonna stay right there. 2019, back in 2019. What else? It was a trash year. I won in 2019. But
you would.
What?
I won in 2019.
I think we all.
I sort of dominated 2019. I think I did.
Yeah, I think 2019 started out kind of rough, maybe.
See, I got skinny, then I got fat later. So
Yeah.
I mean, there's a.
But
win
you
there.
proved that you can get skinny.
Pull the Oprah.
Yeah,
And you
I
show
can-
how
I can
easy
do
it can happen.
So
Look at that.
I take that W.
That's a W.
Yeah, and I'm gonna repeat it next year.
See, look at that.
Same process. Just skinny for like a
So
good.
what did you do?
Let's see. It was a lot of this, which you can't see. It's a lot of my whole water fast, pescatarian diet, intermittent fasting, giving up all of my vices,
Drug use.
and what was the one thing I implemented? I kind of went plant based, but me going plant based was simply me eating a salad a day, just kind of trying to incorporate that.
Mm-hmm.
So all that mixed into one, and I think at my best was like around 45 pounds lost.
Wow.
Yeah, so it can be done, and then I'm trying to challenge myself each year and even more. So I think the new thing I'm thinking about trying for next year is I'm gonna start off with the plant based, and I may do around Lent time frame the still with the intermittent fasting, but I may try to do one of those. I think it's the 24 and one, something like that. It's like at least one of those days out the week you just drink nothing but water. There's no eating, and then somehow
Gwen Williams says, "But that smoked pork butt though."
What?
Who said it?
Gwen Williams.
Oh, shoot, I should shout out my sister-in-law. So, yeah. They
Thank you for watching, Gwen.
Thank you. So, they, of course, I grill, too. So, I mean, as we talked about, I'm still nice with my smoker. So,
Nice.
I'm not saying I'm challenging anybody, though, but still, it's the one thing that I bring to the family. Byron can definitely attest to this, that I get down with the get down. So.
I bought a gun this year, so I'm nice to my smoker as well.
Nice. Double entendre. I see what you did there. I see what you did
Double
there.
entendre, don't ask me how.
Oh, come on, man. Come on, man. Gwen says you should go plant based.
Yeah. So I'm really considering it because I mean it's to my benefit. I'm trying to add 10 more years to my life. So
in 2019, I actually went to an event in Colombia. They and it was actually catered by a vegan restaurant whom I will not name. And
they're not one spot.
nah, their food was good for people who like vegan food.
Oh.
I didn't really enjoy it.
It was a restaurant?
Yeah, it's a Colombia, but people who
I
do
know
the
you're
vegan
talking
thing
about.
say it's really good.
Wait, they got a
it's
food
black
truck?
owned. They have a food truck. They
I
have
know
a
exactly
thing.
what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
So like, this is my problem with the whole plant-based thing, right? Is y'all have to stop trying to make it sound like it tastes like the real thing. Because I'm gonna walk in expecting it to taste like, I want ribs to taste like ribs. I know the texture of ribs. I know what ribs taste like. And if you give me cauliflower that is shaped like ribs, I'm be like, what is this?
Slap the table.
What is this? Now, if you say this is a really good version of plant-based ribs, then I'm like, okay, cool. I know I'm walking it, but I thought this was I didn't know it was vegan food until I started eating it. I was like, something's weird about this food. I don't know.
Is this food bad?
Like, I was like something. I was like this. It's like it was supposed to be like General Style chicken. Okay. It was like a General Style chicken kind of thing. But I was like, something's weird because I was expecting General. Like, if I would have walked into it, like this is gonna be.
Tastes like Brussels sprouts with hot.
Yeah, I was like, this doesn't taste something like the season. I don't know if it's a seasoning or what, but it just something is weird. The texture of this food is off. And then the lady got up and she's like, "This is all vegan," and I was like, "Oh, this is the problem."
That's what's wrong. I mean, but you do have some good examples though. So like, and y'all have the Impossible Whopper at Burger King. So.
Did you?
Not yet.
So good news, it tastes just as terrible as the normal Whopper.
You don't like the Whopper?
So the Whopper's okay, but it doesn't taste the best.
Oh, it's not a restaurant style burger.
Yeah, of course, that's what I'm saying. So as far as burgers go,
yeah,
but it literally tastes the same, like indistinguishable.
It makes me wonder if Burger King's actually using real meat.
They may have been. So I said this a while back, right? So now we're okay with people like using plant-based meat, right?
Yeah.
But if we were like, if it was like 2002 and they were like, all this meat's made out of plants, we was throwing it on the floor. Like, I knew they weren't using real meat.
I knew it all along. Yeah. It wasn't real meat.
It's like people be scared for their lives.
Yeah, like that but 2020, man.
2020.
Anything's possible in 2020, man.
Like, I don't know what's real, what's fake. Like, we got deep fake meat now. So, come on. So, that's the thing to worry about. Like,
it's real spit though.
You pull up to what's that fancy steak place downtown?
Which one?
Hall's
Chop House. Pull up to Hall's Chop House.
There's a Hall's Nexton now.
Really? It is, right?
Yeah.
I did.
It's mad good. Yeah, it's good.
Nexton's probably going to become its own city.
It probably will. It's already I think it's applied to be a town. It's gonna be a town.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Is the next thing gonna make Somerville look like West Ashley?
What's the difference between a town and a municipality?
Not sure, buddy.
Yeah. I think and an unincorporated city.
Well, I know that like Nexton's already wired for like Wi-Fi as an entire.
Yeah, because they have that gigabit speed Wi-Fi.
Yeah. It's nasty.
Dang, bro.
Yeah.
What if Nexton ends up like blowing out Charleston? Like,
I mean, I already live here.
I'm saying like people just end up being like, y'all wanna go visit Nexton? Let's skip over Charleston.
That'd be nuts.
Takes the entire tourist industry from Charleston.
That would never happen. Nah.
You don't know. You don't know what Nexton's capable of.
We don't have any beaches.
You don't know what Nexton
can't get a beach.
They can man-made deep fake beaches.
No, man. You can't Impossible Burger your way out of this one.
Listen, they ain't good. Listen, when they make that man-made beach, when they knock out half of 26 and it turns into a man-made beach,
you'd be surprised.
That stretches all the way to Orangeburg.
Let's say it like this: you'd be surprised what your coops can do with money.
Yes.
True.
Come on now.
Be very surprised.
True. All right. So, 2019. So we talked about. So that's a big thing in 2019. Like 2010 to 2019, we talk about like people like shifting their diets. There's been a lot of diets that have come out in the last 10 years. You tried any diets?
I mean, I think I tried like the keto thing.
The keto?
A little bit, but.
Sam, shout out to Sam. Sam did the keto diet, and Sam and Juwan were both on the keto diet. We went to DC last year. Yeah. So Ricardo ended up cooking for me, so it was great. Shout out to Ricardo. Appreciate you, bro.
Shout out to Ricardo.
But yeah, so did you try the keto diet?
Huh?
How long? She's not officer anymore though.
I mean, but that's
yeah.
Come on, man.
Come on.
Come on.
All right, go ahead. What?
But I mean, it was cool. I think I would do it again. But I think I went into it with way too much misinformation.
Okay.
About like the keto diet and ketosis and whatnot. I was giving recommendations like, man, you just eat a lot of meat. It's like, and by like week 2, I was like having headaches. I was like, I felt weak. I couldn't like go to the gym or anything like that. And it actually did kind of mess me up a little bit because I was going to the gym pretty regularly before that. Yeah. Then once I started diet, I slowed down because I didn't have the energy and whatnot. And I was like, it's like, oh man, but I'm gonna look so good. Like,
Juwan does it though. Juwan does it.
Yeah, so
Juwan's about it.
But if I went back and did it again, I would actually plan out my meals more carefully. Probably do a lot more like meal prepping.
Yeah.
And actually make sure I get everything I need. Aside from calories, aside from carbs, I guess. But
yeah.
And then also you're supposed to like get these ketosis strips that you're supposed to pee on, so you can check and see if your body's actually in ketosis.
That doesn't sound great.
Yeah. So
that's not great at all.
I mean, it doesn't sound great. Hey man, but looking beautiful is
beautiful, man.
You know,
it's
not a pretty process. You know,
funny
it's about the end result. So.
And you said you did the 24+1. Did you?
Well, no, that's what I was thinking about doing,
okay.
and so just as an added challenge or something to do for my Lent time. But no, I think I think it was 2016, maybe earlier than that, when I started just doing the top of the year fast, where it was more kind of slimmed down, no pun intended, of just eliminating vices and just trying to eat better. But like I said, I know for me, I wanted more of a challenge out of it, just so that I'm more engaged with it and I can actually stick with it. And then I was told, matter of fact, it was that towards the end of 2016, where a homegirl of mine, of course, just asked me while I was doing it. I was like, I'm just doing it just to lose some weight. But she was like, listen, shout out to Jessica, make sure you do it with a purpose, because remember, there's a spiritual basis to it.
Right.
So
okay.
I think going into 2017, that was my last year of my MBA semester, and I was like, well, let me put it out there of saying, hey, I want to make sure I end this semester on a good note, positive note, and where there's no mishaps, because I've heard through other people's journey, whether it's grad school or it's doctorate or whatever, whether it's a professor that's acting kind of funny on you or your advisor acting funny, I was like, nah, I've come too far. I don't want no mishaps, so let me stay focused on this, and everything went well for me. It's like, and then through that, I had certain epiphanies that kind of came out of it. Like for one, where I knew for damn sure I was spending too much money on dumb shit. Like, like I said, just for my own vice, it was like, yeah, in a given week, I'm just pissing away this so much money where I could just be saving money on this end of it. What was another thing that I learned that came out of it? I think giving generously without expecting anything in return, like with no strings attached. Like if you're gonna do something, be as genuine as possible about it. And I think for this year, the one thing that came out of it was learning how to maximize my time. Like if you're already on the path of if you knowing what to do right, try to double down on that. See what else you can do to maximize that, so you can get even more optimal results of whatever you're trying to shoot for.
Wow.
So it's little stuff like that.
I see you're friends with the same girl I'm friends with.
Who that?
I'm just playing.
Oh, I was like,
looking at the stories, bro.
I have,
okay.
Nah, no,
Yeah.
I'm not friends with her.
Yeah, I'm just playing.
That is hysterical.
So for next year, hopefully I get the same type of results. So just kind of get smarter, get wiser, and something nice I can kind of pass down to the youths.
To the youths, man. To the youths. Cool, man. So he talked about some lessons learned in 2019. What's some lessons you learned in 2019?
I mean, so I've always been like a huge skeptic of most things. So I'm always seeking to disconfirm things that I already believe.
Right.
So I disconfirmed a lot. So I think a lot of misconceptions go around about certain words and certain things that people are just honestly afraid of. So I learned more about how our bodies are supposed to work, and more about what we eat.
Right.
So I actually, processed food, right?
Okay.
So processed food, I feel like that's some sort of buzzword that folks use, because it's all food you eat for the most part is processed. Almost everything, it has to go through some sort of process to meet. You drink juice, that's processed, obviously. Everything, And it isn't necessarily bad for you. It's just how we end up intaking that. It's all about how much you end up eating, because, So that was important. But if you're talking about important life lessons, I feel like most of my important life lessons kind of almost tied to where I am in life. And I turned 29 this year, and I know that maturity and growth doesn't necessarily come with age. But I always feel all my whole life I always heard that once you get closer to 30, you'll start to become more wiser because you experience more stuff in your life. And at this point, I've experienced so much. I have become wiser. And some things I can just I can see through certain things as BS. And as far as managing money and how to deal with family members that are asking for money and how to, those sorts of things, I've learned how to deal with those things better. And then when it comes to spending money on myself, like Mike was saying, he was spending money on frivolous things. I too was spending money on frivolous things, but I was spending money on, well, not necessarily frivolous things, right? I was spending money on things that I was getting like nothing back from in no type of way. Like I would blow all this money and then like I would have nothing to show for it at the end of the day. And I'm like, dang, I still didn't end up getting the thing that I really wanted. Like I just went out to eat a bunch of times, right? Yeah. So like this year I really got into, or at least the past couple of years, but this year more specifically, I really got into sneakers. Okay. And like I know a lot of people are like, oh, you're spending money on Jordans instead of passports, but I don't care about it. But
do you, man?
Yeah, but it's like, that was something I enjoyed. So I was like, I've never had like nice sneakers. So I'm like, this year I make enough money. I'm like, wow, I want to spend money on.
My daughter got some nice sneakers.
Yeah.
She got the Jordan 11s.
Oh, dang.
Which Jordan 11s?
The patent leather ones?
The patent leather ones. Get out, bro. Get out. The patent. Oh, those. Oh, wow. Okay, wow.
The black and red?
The patent leather ones.
The spring release?
So one thing you gotta know with me is one, I don't care about shoes that much.
Gotcha.
Two, I've never owned a pair of Jordans because I've hated Michael Jordan like my entire life.
That's
true.
So
what are those you got on there?
These are a little something.
Those are dunks. No, those are ones.
I don't. These are Air Force Ones. I love these. Are the only shoes I love. I love Air Force Ones. And I'll tell you, so I watched. I don't know if you remember the year that Panda came out.
Come on.
Those are.
I'm getting dunks, Bob.
They're not dunks though. Those are.
SBs?
It's Air Force One style. That's all I really care about.
Okay, cool.
I don't know what they're.
Yeah.
But so I love these things.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you remember the year that Designer performed on the BET Awards and he did Panda. He came out, he did Panda, and he had on these red Yeezys. They're all red Yeezys. I was like, these shoes are so dope. But I will never, ever in my life pay that amount of money for shoes. So I was like, I'm going to find some shoes the way I find shoes. So I was like, let's see if we can find some on clearance somewhere. Because FinalScore.com. Shout out to FinalScore.com, eBay's side site. I usually go there to find like discontinued shoe models that are just mad cheap. So I go there. They didn't have anything that I wanted, and I walked into the Foot Locker, the Foot Locker at the Tanger Outlet, and they had these for $50.
Nice. That's good, man. Like you found what's comfortable to you.
Huh?
Find what's comfortable to you.
That's what I do.
You don't have to spend a lot of money on shoes for them to be nice. It's all about what you like.
Yeah. So like the most I'll pay on shoes.
It just ends up being a bunch of dudes like looking at your shoes anyway.
Yeah, but
like ladies are never walking up to you like, oh my god, your shoes are my.
Yeah. I'm so turned on by your shoes.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Like, ladies don't run to me like Drew running down their chin. It's like, oh my god, are those the Sky Waffles? Is that the 2019 shoe of the year?
Oh my god.
I was about to go out to dinner with my husband. I guess I'm having sex with you now.
He's broke, boy. He wears a blazer. Clearly, you have it together, sir.
So I have no idea what y'all just said.
But it's cool. So another thing is like positive affirmations.
Right. Okay.
So like my so one of my friends, Shaquille Fontenot.
Shout out to
Shaquille for listening and watching. But she took a leap of faith this year. She's been working in marketing, making like a ton of money working in marketing for the past so many years after she graduated from college. It's taken her across the U.S. and moved her from different cities. She was like, I want to start my own business. Or at least I want to like go head first into my own business. So she literally quit. I mean, before she did it, she made sure she put herself in a good place to do it. Like she went and bought a house and then it's like, all right, cool. Quit her job. And now she's full-time, like running her own like vegan catering company right here in Charleston. Yeah.
What's the name of it?
Fairy Fresh Foods.
Very fresh foods.
Very fresh foods.
So I'm big on supporting people, man.
Yeah, we shouted her out. We shouted her out and we see you.
You did shout her out. We see you.
Yep. So, but I found that to be
Children of the Internet Podcast. If you just got in, that's what they are. Children of the Internet Podcast. Anywhere you can find podcasts. Sorry, I want to make sure I got that in.
Yeah, and I thought that was big. But one thing she's really big is on positive affirmations, like affirming things in your life. And like one thing she kind of says constantly is like blessings fall into my lap, like our opportunities fall into my lap, and it's like KJ also says it as well. It's like
shout out to KJ Kearney, it's the homie.
Shout out to him for listening. And he says like opportunities fall in my lap, and I feel like when I actually say those things, like the things that come out of my mouth actually end up happening.
Yeah, master manifesto.
Yeah, so if so if I say these things, So I've been more careful about the things I say.
Absolutely. I believe that.
Because I feel like in the past I've said things like negative things. Even of being like self-deprecating. I'll say negative things and then negative things will happen. And I'll be like, what? I'll be that, what's that meme where it's like the confused Pikachu meme? Was like, I say negative things gonna happen, then negative things happen, and like confused Pikachu. Like, what?
That's crazy.
Like,
well, I mean, I definitely believe in the principle, thoughts become things. You know me, I'm a pretty positive person.
Yeah.
And like, but that's really, a lot of times when I'm doing that, and that's something I'm, ever since I started, I watched The Secret, it went in 2012, I think 2012, I was still working at AT&T, and you watch The Secret, and they're like, okay, there's the secret to success, and then thoughts become things. What you put out there, the things that happen. The Bible speaks about the power of life and death being in the tongue, and all these different things. So like, I definitely am a big believer in that, which is why you won't see me put a lot of negative stuff in the atmosphere in general. I definitely I believe, like you said, I was in 2019. I also took a leap of faith, a step of faith, leaving my job as a teacher and work in the nonprofit sector so that I can better learn the things that I need to know. I also started my MPA this year. It's been a big year for me as far as that goes, just walking into things that I believe. Hashtag faith walk is something that I've been saying for quite some time because it's truly everything that I've been trying to do in the last few years have been trying to set me up for what is to come. Low Country Youth Services is probably going to be doing some big things in 2020. I'm really looking forward to that. Just being able to walk and do the things that I love doing and not living my life doing things that I don't want to do. So if I want to do a podcast, I'm going to do a podcast. If I want to run a mentoring program, I'm going to run a mentoring program. If I want to start a youth team, I'm going to start a youth team. Whatever it is that I want to do, I'm going to find a way to do it, and I'm going to find a way to monetize it, because why not? Because if you're not, you're pretty much just building somebody else's dream. You're building somebody else's millions. You're building somebody else's platform. You're building somebody else's something. You can build yourself. So you can brand yourself. You can be yourself. And you can live your life. And that's what I got out of 2019.
I like that.
Thank you.
I really do. Because I know going back to the whole fasting and everything, one of the biggest things that came out of that for me back in 2017 was finding your own happiness. And I know Byron gets tired of me talking about that, but it's one message that I hold near and dear. So happy.
What did I say?
Because I talk about a lot on the podcast.
No, I love it.
Because like I said, it's one of those lessons that I learned from my mom, and it was so clear and vivid, of course, towards the end of the whole MBA process for me. And it finally just clicked where I was, of course, you have that one achievement by getting it. But I started, of course, being a homeowner, actually finding things that I'm doing there that I actually love doing, because from that I learned I'm more extroverted. I enjoy bringing people together in my own space, especially if we have a like mind or whatever, and we can trade ideas, we can trade just whatever in exchange with no type of contentiousness, but still leave on good terms.
Yeah.
But so I like just bringing that type of vibe together, and of course I like making sure that my home is an extension of me, and people can point out certain things. Oh yeah, I like that. Oh, and we can just vibe off that and whatever. And from that's where the whole grilling side comes in, because I've learned, of course, over the years is that maybe it's my language of love is that I love doing for others. Yeah. So and from that I had to learn how to get good at it in order for people to appreciate it more. But it's that whole effort to wanting to do that. They're like, no, I want to show you that I'm nice for this, because this is me doing for you, and you actually enjoying this, and want to come back more, and just make sure that you're around that whole vibe. So it's little stuff like that I'm learning. That's a part of my whole growth.
Nice. 2019, that sounds like a really good year, man. Like even with like personal losses, like it's just dope to see the things that we got out of the personal losses sometimes. I even like the fact that you highlighted the fact you said, okay, well, I got skinny and then I gained the weight back. But you identified the fact that I got skinny. So I know that if I apply the principles, I can do it. A lot of people just be like, well, I failed because it didn't last. But that's not what you see out of it. And I also think it's important that as black men, we show the world that we exist in that way. I think so many times, and this is something I talk with DGC a lot, is the fact that so many times, African American men especially are shown in a specific light. We're hard and we're thugs and we don't care about this and we don't care about that. And the truth is, a lot of these dudes are crying in the dark. Yep. A lot of these dudes are massively depressed because they have to put on this facade of something that they have to live up to, when that's not their real life. The truth is that a lot of black men love cooking for their family. They love the opportunity to see a smile on somebody else's face because they did something for them. And you may not know that because that's not what the media is showing you. But I'm telling you that it's there. So that's why it's important, one, to have that forum to be able to say it. And that's one of the reasons I love y'all's show. I just want to go ahead and I'm going to go into that. We'll come back out. But like that's one of the reasons that I'm such a big fan of y'all's show is because y'all really talk about stuff that people aren't talking about in a way that they aren't talking about it. So when y'all talk about like a video game that comes out, you know, because one thing that they do is they do highlight technology. They have the So I'm sorry, y'all. Let me go ahead and break out. You break out your sessions.
We can break out sessions.
So what are you? What's the format?
All right, so I'll actually talk about our podcast. So the podcast is the brainchild of Mike and I. The namesake actually comes from Mike. Mike came up with the name. So it kind of started from years and years and years ago. I was unemployed after I graduated from college. Like I worked for a company, and then for some reason they did major layoffs, and they were like,
What's the name of the company?
I don't want to say it. Yeah.
You know what you did.
It wasn't a large company. It was a locally owned company.
Yeah.
But they had at least like 50 employees, and they let go of 20 of them at the same time. It's like, Byron, you won. So yeah, right. So I was unemployed after that. So I'd always like heard about like podcasts and whatnot. So first thing I did was like I downloaded a podcast app. I didn't know what a podcast was really. I thought it was just internet radio, so I didn't really care about it. So then after I started working out, I was like, I'm gonna start, staying positive and not crying myself to sleep every night. So
I'm
I
glad
like
you did that.
while I'm like working out on the treadmill, I look up podcasts. I'm like, first thing I search is of course Black podcasts. Mm-hmm. I find this podcast called The Black Guy Who Tips. Right. I found other podcasts before that, like the popular podcast that everybody.
Joe Budden.
Well, not Joe Budden at that point. No black podcasts at that point. There was all like Man Talk and stuff like that. The Art of Charm and stuff like those types of podcasts, like the really popular NPR and all that stuff. But I was like, I ain't heard no black podcast yet, so I typed black podcast, find a Black Guy Who Tips. A husband and wife, Rod and Karen, based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. They were talking about stuff that I didn't know that, you're allowed to talk about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they were talking about really woke stuff, and I was like, dang, this really opened my mind. Because they were talking about every side of blackness you can think of. They were talking about, like, technology, how it impacted black people. Mm-hmm. They were talking about social issues. They were talking about, like, they have a section called, like, gay news, where they talk about, like, the LGBTQIA, like, black folks and like just how stuff that's happening is impacting them. They had a segment called like fucking with black people. They had a segment called like guess the race. They had a segment called like sword ratchetness, and I'm like, I love that. And I was like, dang, it felt very like they just got it out of the mud. It was like, hey, every day we're just gonna come in here, record this podcast, and they do it full time.
Yeah.
That's what their full time gig is.
Right.
And I was really inspired by that. And that was back in 2014. I was like, man, I want to make my own podcast. So over there, I ideated and stuff like that. Years and years went by.
Knowledge.
And I was like, man, until I can get like my own studio and stuff like this, I kept like basically creating the buffer between me and a podcast larger and larger. So I started buying equipment in 2016. I bought like a mic and I bought like a digital audio recorder, a little Tascam. Mm-hmm. And I remember reaching out to this guy I work with. I was like, hey man, let's make a podcast. And he was like, yeah, I'm down for it. I was like, cool, we're gonna record on this day. But I got cold feet and I was like, I didn't do it. But then he ended up making a podcast with another guy.
Wow.
And they still rocking with it now. They got an even bigger podcast.
What's it called?
I can't even remember. I don't listen to it.
That's a great name for a podcast.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't listen to it. That's the name of the podcast.
Yeah.
Looking for it on Spotify.
Right. But it's this guy named Tyrone Graham. He's a cool guy. I don't have anything against him, but Tyrone Graham.
All right, Tyrone, cool with me now.
Yeah, he's cool. So I reached out to him, but he ended up making a podcast with somebody else. It's cool. I listened to a few episodes. I was like, all right, it's cool. So more time passed, and I remember I was with my girl at the time, and I saw Mike at what concert was that? Bun B concert.
Yeah.
Saw Mike at a Bun B concert, and I already knew Mike up to that point. And I was like, Mike, let's make this podcast, bro. I got an idea. Let's get together and we'll make a podcast. He's like, cool. And I remember he followed up with me afterwards, which kind of was like, okay, cool. This is gonna be the guy.
Yeah.
And then I remember sitting down like with that little audio recorder. Mike had bought a mic. Mike bought a mic.
Mike bought a mic.
Bars.
Yeah, we were setting up, recording stuff. I was like, yo, I don't like it. I don't like it. We listened back to it. And Mike's like, yo, let's rock with it. I was like, man, I don't like it. So
it felt like it was just one long drunken rant about nothing.
Literally, we listen back to it, and it's like people like, yo, I liked it, and we listen to it, it's like, what? Like, it felt like magic. We recorded it.
But Chewbacca though, what is that?
Right. We will listen back to it, and it just literally just sounded like we were just banging on the table the whole time,
man.
yelling at each other. Yeah, it was just. Did y'all listen to that Little Brother album? Y'all hear the skit? It's like niggas.
Oh,
yelling.
niggas yelling. Yeah,
It basically just niggas yelling.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, we really got to work out something more well thought out. We got to get a format. We have to go into this with a plan. I was thinking about Pittsburgh planning. So I was like, if we don't go into this with a plan, it's not gonna be able to sound like how I'm envisioning it's gonna sound, and I don't think anybody's gonna want to listen to it. Especially the people that we want to listen to, who is our friends.
Right.
We want our friends. We want a podcast that our friends can listen to.
Yeah.
And they can also tell other people to listen to, and they can also get into it. So at the end of 2018. We actually sat down. We recorded something. I was like, I kind of like this. I like the direction we going in. Listen, and I think we were supposed to have an episode out by the end of 2018, but come on.
It was Byron.
Yes, it was me. It was me.
It was Byron. So it was probably like 3 months late.
Let me say the phrase of 2019. You know the vibes.
You know the vibes. So then January 2019 came, and I was like, Mike, we're gonna have an episode out before the end of January. So. In classic Children Internet fashion, we had it out by February.
Yeah.
And I was like, we're not gonna softball it. We're gonna go all the way. We're gonna get it. We're gonna host it on a real podcasting platform. We're gonna have it on every major platform so everyone can access it and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't want to pull any punches with it. We bought a real digital audio interface. We upgraded our mics this year. I have real audio software. I use Adobe Audition for, our audio stuff. Well, we use Audacity and Audition. We record in Audacity and edit in Audition. Sorry. I know y'all still our process now, our creative process.
Hey, man.
Make children of the internet, too.
I can give you the entire playbook for the New England Patriots. You cannot win a game if you don't know how to do it.
Talk about it.
But the biggest thing that we found is that when we have fun writing about a topic, and when we have fun recording it, we know it's gonna be good. But we never put anything out there until we're satisfied with it. We'll record and we're like, yo, Mike, I don't like this. So halfway through, we're like, we're gonna re-record this song. It's like, yeah, we are. And then we're re-recording. It's the best thing ever.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's been a journey.
But it's your process. I mean, it's your process. Your process is your process.
Yeah, it's a journey. It's been a journey to get here. Going into 2020, our big thing is trying to streamline our process more. Us both working full time, and then being active outside of work on various things, and also trying to be a better person to the people that love us. It's been a juggling process, but it's all about the way we plan things. So that's the big thing going into that. So, but we have segments.
Yes,
we have segments.
That's what I asked you about.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
but you good though.
But I wanted to give the background.
No, I love it. Go for it.
We have segments. So we always started the podcast with basically we do our normal hey, this is the Children of the Internet podcast.
They have hysterical skit commercials.
Yeah, so we have
So, matter of fact, I was gonna say
explain that part.
If you listen to the podcast and you're familiar, leave us a comment on your favorite commercial. Please do.
Yeah.
For those, it simply came from us wanting to, I guess, find our own niche and how can we be creative in our own sense. And it really, I forgot. It started with one idea that I had because I think I just finally figured out what gaslighting mean, and I think I said, "Gaslight Industries, you have ideas and we think you're crazy." It was like, "Oh snap, that was actually cool." But from there, let me see how I can start wrapping that up and make more creative of that. Because by no stretch, I know I'm no comedian. Brian, last time I checked, are you a comedian? Kind of. So, but we have a very similar sense of humor and just with our wit too. So it's from there. Well, like I said, it always comes with one little idea, and then we'll just start seeing how we can wrap it up and make it and punch it up to make it even funnier. So, and I think by episode 3, that's when we finally started finding our groove and just saying, all right, I have an idea. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know where I can kind of punch it up at here and there. Yeah. And then of course he'll do the same for me. Mm-hmm. And then it just kind of goes up from there. Yeah. And then I'll let Byron choose if which one should go first or how he wants to place it.
Yeah.
I mean, and hopefully it hasn't been too edgy.
No, I mean, I think I do a really good job of, it's not over the top. Definitely not over the top. I enjoy it. I mean, I can't listen to it with my kids in the car.
Yeah.
But I mean, but me and my wife riding, I'm like, yo, we listening to the podcast.
Yeah.
But that's, so segments, I want to get through that and then I'll talk about something.
Yeah.
But segments, we have We See You.
Mm-hmm.
We See
so
You.
We'll start with We See You.
Yeah.
So We See You is our version of Black Excellence. The idea came from one year when I was at Afrotech. Shout out Afrotech, shout out Blavity. So one year I was at Afrotech, and I remember a company, I'm not gonna say which one, they had like tagline for their Black employee network that said We See You. And I thought about it, was like, man, like the whole point of this conference is kind of like give a platform to these people who don't have a platform. These Black folks that are in tech, they don't have platforms, and like the Blavity is literally giving them a platform. It's like there has to be some way to like, take that back with me. You know what I mean? So I did take it back with me. I was like, let's incorporate that into our podcast. A way of like shouting out to people we know. Person I know Mike does his South Carolina State folks.
Yeah.
State needs a lot of more visibility because I don't think a lot of people are aware of like the great things that come out of South Carolina State and their alumni.
Shout out to Henry Doctor. That's my wife's uncle.
Oh, nice. So there you go.
Nice,
So and I was like, man, but there's all these other Black people everywhere that are like doing these huge things that no one's aware of. I remember the original thing that inspired me was like Trey Parnell would play VS. I was like, man, this Black dude made this esports program that you can adopt, and literally it becomes like a varsity like sports program.
Wow.
If your school or your district or your state adopts it. I'm like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's made by a Black dude.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that was like the thing that like kicked it off in my head, and we rock with it. Like,
Alright.
and then there's the coffee. It's the shit that keeps you woke. I actually don't even remember how we came up with that. I was drinking coffee one time. I was literally drinking coffee.
What keeps you woke?
I was trying
Coffee.
Other people can have the tea.
Yeah.
But we have a coffee.
Yeah, I was trying to stay awake during the podcast. I was drinking a little bit of coffee, and I was like, you know what? Shit that keeps you woke. Tea is just other people's business, and it's basically our life pro tips. Like, here's some things that you should know.
Yeah, it's really like the tech world. I know, I know there was one y'all got me really rethinking about the way like I tag in photos and stuff like that, because like facial recognition, like y'all had like that's the one thing that I've gotten out of.
I mean, that's
like,
why they're not. We want to believe they do everything just for the consumer, right? But we know that's not true, right? So if they give you the ability to tag people in photos, they're doing that so they can recognize who that person is. Eventually, they'll be able to recognize who that person is without you tagging them.
Yeah,
and that's what. Google does that now. I don't know if you have Google Photos, but Google Photos does that now.
Yeah.
Like, I'll log into Google Photos and go get a photo from my old phone or something like that. And it's like, hey, are these two people the same people?
Yeah.
And like, and none of your damn business.
And I'm like, yes, that is Byron Melvin.
Yeah, but we train those AIs all the time, especially with captures.
Yeah.
It's captures like, hey, click on every photo that has a fire hydrant in it. It's like, that's not so they can prove that you ain't a robot. They're training their AI to like
robots.
be able to identify shapes and stuff like that of certain objects.
Sarah Connor's out here trying to save the world.
Yeah.
At 78 years old.
So, but guarding our data and like folks not being aware of how their data is used on the internet is what drove the coffee segment.
Okay.
But now we definitely formed that into like different stuff. I think Mike's last one was like was it about smoke detectors?
I'll say it like this because as it's starting to evolve, where as you see, Byron will do the more tech one, I do the more practical, like real world sense. Like the one that I did, my favorite one was being a homeowner now, and then from my experience this year working at Lowe's is where I'm taking my destiny in my own hands of getting some extra money, but on the same token, it helps me even save money in the long run, because if I'm a homeowner working at Lowe's, it's the best thing I can do, because I may not know everything as far as, I think the department I was working in was indoor lawn and garden. I'm soaking up as much game as possible that I can take with me anywhere, and I don't have to worry about paying people to do this for me. I can damn near do it myself. So it's the whole nugget of do that because it saves you money. You can actually learn money if you're going about it the right way, and you can be better for it. But I think it's that, and then the thing of anybody that's either apartment living or home living is that change your damn smoke detector. That beeping sound, it's beeping for a reason.
Especially if you record a podcast out of your mom's house.
Exactly.
Cell phone.
Just get a 9-volt battery.
Talking shit about me. Change your smoke detector before you talk shit about me. How about that?
It costs like what was it, $6-7 for two.
Yeah.
Just change it.
They're almost free. You almost make money by changing your battery in your smoke detector.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure they're like -$3.
It's like, oh man, I just like the ambiance of that beeping sign every 5
Nah,
minutes.
bro.
It just
Like,
works.
nah,
Like,
it's
no,
not
that's
cool.
not natural.
Yeah.
You should go change
Yeah,
it.
and see, like, so upstairs in our house, like, for those who don't know, I record in my house, but upstairs we have like really high ceilings.
Yeah.
And our smoke detector is like on, so you need like a 9-foot ladder just to get to the smoke detector. So it's nuts. So like, ours starts beeping, and like, we have to get really annoyed by it before we do it. And since I'm not in the room most of the day, it's really not a big deal until it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. Like,
Yep.
But if you do record a podcast at your mom's house in the same room as the smoke detector that's out, change that smoke detector battery
Yeah.
before you record that podcast.
I think, what else did I say? I was like, oh yeah, don't cheat on your barber.
Yeah.
Don't ever cheat on your barber.
there's a whole episode of Atlanta on that, about that.
Yeah.
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 We go through a lot. We go through a lot for our barbers.
Yeah, we do. We do. I think a lot of people don't really realize that, and you'll never really know. And literally, like your haircut can change like the way you look.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you don't.
Barbering is a superpower.
It is. It is.
It is.
It is.
It absolutely
Yeah,
is.
and I've changed hairstyles over the years, so I've had to change barbers with each hairstyle. So yeah, you have to have the barber that respects that hairstyle.
Yeah.
You don't want somebody that's gonna like.
Yeah. That's my brother, my
edit
brother.
to your
Shout out to my
locks.
brother. Shout out to my brother. Blazing Cuts, Ricardo Lewis. We see you. See how I did that?
Yeah.
See how I did that?
Then, but we also have the segments we don't really announce
Okay.
but it keeps us focused. So
Yeah.
so here's some little knowledge darts for y'all. So
Knowledge darts.
after we do after coffee, we go into current events. So we do current events, and within current events, we segue into the topic that we're gonna talk about today. So current events is always like, hey Mike, did you hear about impeachment or something like that, or something
Impeachment.
weird?
Yeah.
So we'll talk about stuff like that and kind of go back and forth for a little while, and then we'll go into the topic that we're gonna talk about.
Right.
And we just talk about that topic for like maybe like 15, 20 minutes, and then we wrap it up. Then we go into the what's the official name for it? The check-in?
Yeah, it's our mental health check to make
Yeah.
sure that we're
Okay.
good. So.
That's good.
And that's when we talk about video games and how we're doing in our
Well,
personal
not in the
life.
mental health check though, but
Well-
well, anything that's pressing to us. Like if I was talking about stuff either going on with the family or if anything that was going on with him, just air it out real quick, and then hopefully we're better by it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then going into the video game.
Right.
Music
yeah.
shit,
Yeah.
so.
Cause y'all always like close with like video games and music and stuff like that. Yeah. And y'all have really good takes. And that's another thing. Like that's one thing I love with the Joe Budden podcast is like I will listen to the Joe Budden podcast and then I'll end up listening to artists because I heard them talk about it. Like Snow Allegra, Snow Allegra, Mac Ayers, people like that. Like people I started listening to just because I heard them talk about it. On
Yeah.
TV.
What actually inspired us, or what inspired us to put the mental health check and the video game talk at the end is the same thing that I'm guessing what inspired Joe Budden to put like the
Sleepers.
at the end. It's like if you're gonna drop off, like this would be the point to drop off.
Yeah.
And I don't want to put the video game stuff at the beginning. You drop off right there. It's like I don't like this.
True.
But it's the video game stuff is definitely the more niche stuff where it's like, I mean, I want to listen to this, which is fine. I would definitely appreciate if you listen to the majority of the episode and then dropped off.
Yeah.
Instead of listening to the first 10 minutes, you're like, nah, not for me, and then you drop off. I'm like,
True.
yeah. They say you lose people in the first 6 minutes of your podcast.
Most of the time you do. But what I find, like, especially when it comes to podcasting, and my approach to this really changed. And I think I talked to you about this. When I ingest. If I'm not talking, I'm listening.
Yeah.
So I listen to a lot of information. I listen to a lot of podcasts, a lot of things like that. And I listen to Joe Budden's podcast, his pull up with Russ.
Yeah.
I have no idea who Russ is as an artist. None.
Neither do I.
So he's a white guy out of Atlanta. He apparently has lots and lots of music, but he apparently is like an underground artist like that. But he makes like $5 million a year off of his music.
Pretty much.
And what he says is, like Joe Budden's like, what? He's like, well, what's your process? He says, well, when I first started, I just started putting out music. Like the music wouldn't be the best music, but he's like, I put it out. He's like, but something happened, and I put out a song 3 years later, and people started listening to that one. Well, what they ended up doing was when they listened to that song that they like, they went back and started listening to the rest of my catalog, and they were like, he's like, now I have streams of revenue because of stuff that people just listen. It's new to them. I put it out 3 years ago. I probably don't perform that song anywhere I go.
Exactly.
But people love stuff from my first album that I didn't even think was that dope. So for me, when I think about the way I do this, my process, it's really a lot of that, man. Like sometimes I get up here and I think like this episode's not awesome. But but somebody will be like, hey, I saw you. I was on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
Legit. I was on a cruise ship, middle of the ocean. And
shout out to cruise ships.
Shout out to cruise ship. Shout out to Carnival. Shout out to Club O2. That's the cruise ship.
Shout out to Club O2.
So cool. But we were there, and a lady tapped me on the shoulder. She's like, "Do you have a podcast? Don't you have a Facebook show that you do?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, I watch your show all the time. And I had no idea because like sometimes I'll get off here and do like 52 views, and I'm like,
I should be like, sorry, I have a girlfriend.
But I was dropping my kids off on a cruise ship.
Sorry, I have a girlfriend already.
That's hysterical. So she's like, yeah, I watch your show all the time. I'm a big fan or whatever. We ended up meeting for lunch. She's not cool, but I just said to say like so that's really my whole thing about it. But like when I think about like you guys' podcast, like I'm just such a fan of y'all stuff. Like I really, really am. And as many people like y'all as I can shine a light on, I really, really want to because one, podcasters got to support each other. Like I'm a member of a group on Facebook called Podcasts! And there's a lot of people just saying, hey, listen to my podcast, listen to my podcast. But I'd imagine probably a whole lot more effective if people were like, comment on somebody else's podcast. Yeah. Like listen to somebody else's podcast and give feedback on that. Because that's how we all grow.
We have the Charleston Podcasters group. They have a group on Facebook. I found them originally through a meetup group before I ever recorded a podcast. Yeah, they're worth joining up. Like I think they've kind of slowed down now.
Actually, that was that one group that was doing the game night at what's the spot? At West Ashley, right on Sandberg.
Miss Rose's.
Yeah, Miss Rose's. Yeah, that's right. Because when we first threw out the name, and the guy was like, "I love that name."
Yeah.
Thank you. I was like, "All right, cool.
Yeah,
we're gonna be on to something right
now." There it is. So back in 2019, check out Children of the Internet podcast. 2019, biggest story. 2019, go. I don't even say biggest. Most memorable for you.
Matter of fact, we should have said this in the episode. It's how the year ended, how the year began and how the year ended with lies.
Ooh.
Lies with with Juicy Schmouye.
Juicy Schmouye.
And girl, was it Carla Sanchez, whatever?
Oh, the kidnapped girl.
Yeah, because we damn near call it in episode 2 as far as our ad goes, the Simonet Institute of Liar Education. Specialized in fabrications, falsehoods, and shit like that. So we called it. Yeah. And clearly she's a proud student. She really learned. Yeah. And we're proud of that.
Biggest story
of the year. And I forgot a majority of what happened this year, to be honest. If it didn't happen the past couple months. Because so many things happened this year. It's like...
you need to look them up for you?
You can. Because we were talking about something the other day, and I was like, that happened this year?
Oh, the Soulja Boy interview.
Yeah, the Soulja Boy.
Soulja Boy, yeah. Big Draco. Yeah, put that on Big Draco.
I forgot that happened this year.
Yeah, that was this year. So for me, Lizzo, man. Like Lizzo. Lizzo happened this year.
Is that a pun intended for a big story?
Wow.
Bars. No, I did not do that. I did not do that. No, what I mean is like Lizzo as a phenomenon. Yeah. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that because I don't want
a white woman.
Right.
Phenomenon.
The idea that what Lizzo is doing is somehow uplifting women. And if you criticize Lizzo's music or Lizzo in general, it's because you hate women.
Well, I think all right, so I don't listen.
We can talk about this. We can do this.
I have no problems with Lizzo at all. I think her music,
I don't think her music is great.
I think her music's fine.
It's fine, it's not great.
Yeah, that True Hurt song is great.
It's not great.
Anyway, the True Hurt song is great.
I just say it's a hit.
It's a hit. It's not great.
That's all I can
say. It's a smash.
It's a smash.
It's a smash.
Okay. Right.
But I think what a lot of people are doing, I don't think that's what you guys are doing. Do you have anything as Lizzo? I don't think it's what you're doing. But a lot of people have fat phobia, right?
Okay.
And so with that, they're basically using their fat phobia to like as an excuse to not like Lizzo. So they're hiding it. They're saying like, oh no, Lizzo's trash. She's annoying. She does this. She does that.
But people love Adele.
That's why she's the worst person. I'm saying. But Adele doesn't celebrate being fat.
Nope.
Lizzo does.
Okay.
Lizzo, well, she doesn't celebrate being fat either. Lizzo is a fat person that's obviously fat, but is happy with it.
But what
you can tell people don't like seeing. That's where fat phobia comes from. People don't like. They feel like people that are like big. You shouldn't be singing about happy stuff. You should be singing about sad
not
stuff. Not
necessarily, no.
I'm not saying that's what you're saying. I'm just saying that's
but
what people that are fat phobia.
But I think that's the problem. I think the problem is that's the argument they're making is that if you don't like her music, it's because you don't like fat people. Like, I think that's nuts. I think that's a nuts argument.
Is that her fans saying that, or just
it's her fans? No, it's the hive.
But a lot of
the hive is like, if you the other day I made a post.
Okay.
I was like, I don't know if I'm the only person to say this, but I don't think Lizzo's music's that great. And then like it flooded my time. Like, oh, how dare you not like Lizzo's music? It's not that great to me. I'm not riding down the street trying to hear "I'm feeling good as hell." That's not dope to me. I'm sorry. Now I definitely think that there's a lane for it, but there's a place where you can criticize music without necessarily criticizing the person. Also, I mean, like
in today's time frame,
but it's just all right. So again, I don't think that's what you're doing. I'm not saying that.
No, I'd imagine that there are a segment of people who do that, but to assume that the majority of people who don't like Lizzo's music is because they don't like big people is nuts.
Some of her loudest critics are those people, right? So, are you a big Twitter person?
Sort of.
All right, so the perspective does change when you're on Twitter and when you're not on Twitter. But you see people on Twitter, anytime Lizzo does anything, there's always something. If it's something negative, the first comment is like, her fat ass, of course she would complain about her food or something like that. It's like the thing about when she had her butt cheeks out at the Lakers thing. It's like, why her fat ass got on them. It's like, it's always...
Well, I mean, that's mean, but that's social media. That's just mean social media. Social media is a mean place. We all know that.
Listen,
yes.
I
understand
like,
oh, his skinny ass, like that wouldn't it be?
But that's not what people wouldn't say that, though.
They would.
People say, like,
damn,
Rajon skinny ass. Listen, all I'm saying is people have fat phobia and people are like trying to use not liking Lizzo as a way of just putting their fat phobia out there.
If they said this picture is disgusting because she's fat, okay, cool. If you said I don't like Truth Hurts as a song, it's not because you don't like.
But that's not what people are saying. Like you're saying that, but some of our loudest critics are not saying that. They're saying like Lizzo needs to be canceled because she's promoting unhealthy lifestyles, or she's promoting.
I don't think her. But see, I do think she promotes unhealthy lifestyles, but not when it comes to her size. I think she promotes unhealthy lifestyles in the same way that I think Meg Thee Stallion promotes unhealthy lifestyles,
which is twerking on her knees.
Twerking.
Not necessarily twerking. Twerking is fine. But I'm just saying. When I listen to the Meg Thee Stallion album, maybe y'all feel differently about it. There are themes in there. Huh?
I thought it was a smash.
She talks about the exact same thing on every single song. Yeah. She can actually rap. She's a really good rapper.
Yeah.
Delivery. If you talk about like the elements of hip hop, like she's really good at 3 of them. The problem is the content is not there. Like she doesn't have the content and she can't tell stories.
So you have a problem against scamming, sir?
Yeah, scam rap is a big thing right now.
Exactly.
Like, I think the baby also falls into that Meg Thee Stallion realm where it's like he found like this is the music people like for me, and this is what I'm gonna put out a whole album of that. It's basically his whole album should.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's just all should.
I like the baby though.
Yeah, and I think Meg Thee Stallion the same way. When I listened to her album, I was like, all right, cool. I have to be in the mood to listen to this. It's nothing I'm gonna vibe out to. I'm not gonna vibe out to the baby's album. I'm not gonna vibe out to it. It's gonna be something you listen to like on a Friday night when you're on the way to the movies with your to come see it. I don't know, but it's something you listen to on the way to the club or on the way leaving the club. I don't know.
I don't know, and I don't know if it's just because I'm a father of 4 daughters.
Yeah,
but it's just like I don't, and that's why when people are like, oh well, you Lizzo, like no, I think Meg Thee Stallion, who is not a big chick.
Yeah,
I think there are similarities to me, and so when I say I don't like the Meg Thee Stallion album, it's not because I think that women shouldn't twerk. That's not my issue. My issue isn't her size. My issue is that it's the exact same song for like 98 minutes. Like I just can't rock.
Yeah.
I can't rock with that. Now back to Lizzo, like that's so we go to the Laker game, right? Mm-hmm. Lizzo walks into the Laker game with a shirt, and if y'all haven't seen the photo, y'all check it out for yourself. Lizzo walks into the Laker game with a t-shirt which intentionally is just a regular behind t-shirt with a hole in the back with what's like her wearing like this
with the kicks out
thong thing, like, right?
But
so
she had on like what are those things
boots,
and those things that you can see through, which is not pantyhose.
Not sequins.
Something.
Not fishnets.
Something along those lines. Yeah.
So who?
Mesh something.
Yeah.
Who could do that and not get criticized? Because if Rihanna does that, she gets criticized. If Beyonce does that, she gets criticized.
I'm not saying you should do that and not get criticized.
No,
I'm not trying to make that case.
But that's my point. Because when people argue about that, they say, well, people are criticizing her size. No, they're saying nobody should do that. No other. Well, Prince had his butt cheeks out. Well, Prince was on stage at the Grammys. This is totally different than going to a basketball game.
I'm not trying to validate this behavior. I'm not saying it.
That's my point.
I'm not saying it's the thing that should happen. It's just I'm not saying people shouldn't criticize it again. I'm just saying a lot of folks
who do.
And I don't have the metrics on this, but
have you done the knowledge?
But they're check Medium and look at the think pieces. But there are people that are like they are criticizing her because of her size. I think they're trying to hide it as a they like they're worried about the kids. You know, it's like those people. What is it, like concern trolling? It's like I'm so worried about the kids.
What about the children?
I'm worried about her fat ass being in front of the kids. I'm not. I don't hate her because of her size.
And I think that's despicable. And I want to go ahead and say that. Like I'm very big on being clear on what I'm saying. Yeah. If you do not like Lizzo because of Lizzo's size, something's wrong with you. That's not a her problem. That's a you problem. But if you don't like Lizzo's music.
That's fine.
That's absolutely
it's
fine.
100% okay to not like her music.
If you don't think somebody should be walking through the Staples Center with their butt out, that's okay. Now, if it's because they're big and you would rather see somebody smaller, then that's a you problem. And this is really hard.
But at the end of the day, right? These aren't things that we can police. Or it's a thing you should look in yourself and like, why? It's like you've had people where it's like, I don't fucking like this person. I don't like them, and it's like. And what it is like, you don't like their music? It's like, nah, it's just I don't like them. You should really be like, why don't I like this person? It's because like they're big and you just don't like big people. Yeah. Like that's the case a lot of times. You see it. Like I've seen a lot of people criticize people over their weight unjustifiably. Like
I agree.
You see it like at family barbecues where it's like, hey man, he getting kind of big, and he might need to go see a doctor. I'm like, you don't know.
My grandma tells me I'm gaining weight every time she sees me.
You don't know what the hell's going on with them. Like, somebody could be like one of the, well, I can't say one of the bigger girls. I know a girl that's bigger than me. She's taller than me. She's wider than me. Yeah. Low blood pressure. That's her problem. Low blood pressure. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she doesn't have high blood pressure. She's not pre-diabetic, nothing. Like, she's perfectly healthy. Yeah. She's fine. But then you see people was like, oh, she's big. She must have all kinds of health issues. But people do that all the time. But you can't. And we can't act like they don't.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I think but see, I also think that's a lot of the squeaky wheel gets the grease like mindset. It's like, so the loudest people are the majority? No. Most times the loudest people are the minority.
Yes.
Vast majority of the time. So, but we put those people on a pedestal and say, well, they're the loudest, so they're the ones that we're going to represent, the ones we're going to address. No, we should act like those people are idiots because they're idiots.
But there's also the thing of like the loudest people can influence other people, right? And I'm pretty sure you can see this, but just because like, you know, if you look on the internet,
you have a shot.
Yeah, if you look on the internet, you're gonna assume that, you know, a majority of white people on the internet are all like alt-right and racist, and they all voted for Trump.
I think Trump supporters are really the biggest indicator of that. Exactly. Yeah. Because there is a segment of Trump supporters who are white supremacists, but there are a lot of people who are not white supremacists who support Trump.
They just voted for Trump because it was in their quote unquote best interest. Like, because they were going to vote Republican anyway, regardless of what the situation was. True. And I understand that, but then you of course have the ones that are very loud, and it's like, you know, build the wall. Yeah. Like, all Trump supporters aren't saying build the wall. They're not. They don't agree with everything he says that come out of his mouth. But the loud minority is who gets all the attention. Yeah. But that's, you know, that's not. I don't think that's weird necessarily, because those people again can influence other people. I think there's a name for that. It's called like something, acratic terrorism or something along those lines. Where
look it up.
Yeah, something along those lines. Some sort of terrorism where people. They can seem like they're joking. Like I feel like that's how Trump ended up getting in the office in the first place. You had a lot of people that were like joking about voting for Trump and building the wall, to where it eventually just became real because people didn't take it seriously anymore. Right. The same thing about like there was a thing about PewDiePie. Like I don't know if y'all know what PewDiePie is, but
my daughter does.
Yeah. So PewDiePie, I actually like PewDiePie. I subscribe to him. He has like the most subscribers on YouTube, whatever. Right. But he did this thing a while back. He's done a lot of things, but he did a thing a while back where he paid some guys on Fiverr to like hold up these signs that said "Kill all Jews," right? Okay. And he was doing it as a joke, right? I don't think he really believes that people should kill all Jews, but then it became like a meme.
Yeah, because I heard about that the other day.
And when it becomes a meme, it softens the blow with people. Where it would have been shocking before if you saw a sign that said "Kill all Jews," but now that it's funny, and now that like somebody as big as PewDiePie thinks it's funny, it softened it. So now people are like, "Oh yeah, kill all Jews." And then in your mind, if you're like, you were already on the edge, like kill all Jews. Yeah. And
pause for a second.
What's that?
The thoughts and opinions reflected expressed by Byron Melvin do not necessarily reflect the ideas and opinions of Rajon Lewis and the Real Talk of Rajon or Lou Legacy Limited Incorporated. Thank you.
But I'm just saying, like, but that's how you end up pushing those people over the edge. The people that were like, you know, I kind of was already on that side, and then you hear people joking about it subconsciously. You're now.
But I also think that in a way you minimize a much larger issue, which is problematic.
Yeah.
I think that's really problematic. Surviving R. Kelly. That was a big story. 2019.
Yeah.
That was. Did y'all watch?
Long overdue. I didn't watch that BS.
I watched it.
I saw the SNL skit.
I watched it.
I saw that. But that wasn't in the.
Talking about the SNL skit?
The Gayle King interview was not part of Survivor.
Oh, that's a little bit that I saw.
No, fam. I watched it and like literally. So I watched it, you know, because I like documentaries. Yeah. If it's anything about like artists or anything, like I think I've seen every episode of Unsung, things like that. Like so those are my jam. So like Survivor, I was like, okay, well I'll learn more about the situation. I'll feel how I feel about it because I had heard about, you know, his problems, but I didn't know the depths of it. Into the second episode, because it's like a 6-part episode. It's like
I think so.
Yeah, it's like so. Into the second episode, it's like 1:30 in the morning. I literally pull out my phone and delete everything that included R. Kelly. Like if it was featuring R. Kelly, if R. Kelly well not if he produced it, because I'm not going through the credits like that. But like any R. Kelly song.
Does that include the Ron Isley Keep It Flowing?
Keep it
I don't like the song.
Oh,
you didn't like that song?
That's not my jam.
But it's gonna come on at every juke joint.
I was at a graduation party and somebody put on "Step in the Name of Love" and I screamed until the DJ turned it off.
That's fair.
Like what? Did people join in?
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm talking about. He influenced them by being the loudest person.
I was not gonna do it. Yeah. It like and I think again it's very reflective of the fact that I'm a father of 4 daughters. Like that to me, the most despicable.
I could go.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like.
And I love to me, and I have to say this. Chocolate Factory is still like one of the greatest albums I've ever heard in my life. I'm just never gonna hear him again for the rest of my life, which is sad.
I'm willing to give that up. I'm willing to give that up. Like I don't care about R. Kelly and his music.
No,
I think he makes great music. I can do the rest. I can go the rest of my life without.
Yeah, I will be going the rest of my life without hearing him, which is, you know. But that was a big thing, man. Like that series, I didn't know it would be what it became.
Yeah.
And season 2 is coming out next year.
Yeah, like what are they gonna talk about in season 2?
The Gayle interview and probably the new developments now.
Yeah, that lady bailing him out and all that.
Which once again, I didn't know that you can try to get a refund on a bail.
Yeah, you get
I didn't know you could do that.
Well, I mean, I don't know if she could. Yeah, I don't know if she's gonna be successful though. I was like, no, you put up was it $100,000 to get him out?
I would say there was also the Michael Jackson documentary, which
Living Neverland, which ended up being like
mad
fictitious and a lot of
What
I think what the thing about that one though is that like the people who championed it are now getting backlash. So like Oprah.
Yeah.
Oprah's getting a lot of backlash because of her support of the Leaving Neverland. But the problem with Leaving Neverland is that they wanted to put out a story without putting out anything to dispute the things, like even like factual evidence that came out. They're like, no, we're not going to include that because it doesn't support our narrative. Yeah. And I think that's the problem. When you talk about social media, you talk about the way the media is being used. Even when you talk about the Trump administration, the problem is that you can't make it a monolithic kind of thing where you're just putting out this information where anything that goes against it, we're not gonna do any alternative sides. Any good documentaries always shows you the other side of it. Like if I watched the Marvin Gaye interview thing that never talked about stuff he went through to his stepfather, it'd be like, okay, well that's kind of weird. Or you watch
stepfather.
I think his father.
His actual father killed him.
His father.
But like, imagine getting killed by your stepfather.
Man, that's a hate.
When They See Us, did you watch it?
Nope.
I didn't see it. I didn't watch When They See Us.
See,
I don't do like sadness for fun.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people are on that wave right now. I honestly just didn't want to watch it. Yeah. To be honest, like I heard the story.
It's one of those things. I agree that the story definitely needs to be told. And shout out to Miss Ava DuVernay.
Yeah,
thank you for getting there.
I just feel like it wasn't for me to fucking.
But no,
watch.
Like, I wasn't ready to be triggered. I wasn't ready to be mad. Still not ready to do it.
Yeah.
But still, it's like I'm glad somebody of that stature were able to get their story out.
At some point, I'm gonna watch it. It took me a while to watch 13th, so I finally watched 13th. And I'm pretty sure I'm gonna watch When They See Us at some point. It won't be this week though, because again, I don't do paid like fun depression for fun. It's just
what TK got sentenced to 44 years this year?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Who's TK?
He did that shit.
TK 47. The guy that wrote The Race, like, I'm trying to beat a case, but I ain't beat that case, bitch. I did The Race.
Oh wow.
He don't know that. If he don't know The Race, why do you know that it's one of his niche song that came out No Jumper?
You know what I heard about this year? YNW Melly. Like,
that's his boy.
Yeah, like I that guy's interesting.
Yeah.
So explain that to people who don't know who that is.
YNW Melly killed his two best friends.
Long story short.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
I was like, what is that? Are we about to get taken? Is YNW Melly outside? I saw the red dot move across the blinds. I'm like,
YNW Melly pulled up on us. He teleported over.
Oh, God.
But YNW Melly, he killed his two best friends. They made it.
They made a song about it.
Not only he made the song before.
And now it's double platinum now? Or is it
Yeah. It was actually a pretty good song. But he made the song before, but he killed his two best friends and then staged it like a drive-by. Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
That's awful.
What else? But yeah, TK got sentenced to 44 years, never getting out.
Tekashi 6ix9ine this year.
What did he do this year?
Tekashi 6ix9ine snitched on the entire industry after snitching on his homeboys.
Listen.
Even though they've been snitching on themselves for quite some time.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, it can't be both for me. Like, either he did the right thing or he did the wrong thing. Like, I don't subscribe to street culture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So street dude. I'm not a street dude either.
So I'm not gonna be one of those ones who like, nah, snitches get stitches. I'm like,
no.
You need to tell.
Well, I talk all the time about the fact there's a difference between a snitch and a witness. Like if you're not involved, you're a witness. Like if I say, hey, there's a kid selling drugs on the corner of my street, I'm a witness. I see it. If I'm selling drugs with the kid, and then I walk in the house and I say, hey, there's a guy on the corner.
And that's not what he did. Like he got
good business practice.
He got arrested for stuff that they did. You know what I mean? Like,
let me get the competition out of here.
That's a squad.
Yeah, but it's like they weren't his squad. They kidnapped him and they threatened to kill his family.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's just whose squad does that? Not mine.
No, that's fine.
Imagine Mike does that. It's like
the kidnapper or the kidnapper?
All of it. Mike just does all of it, and I'm like. You better not tell. Like, you better hold me down on that.
But that's the code. That's the code they got.
But what weird expectations is that? Like, what's the code they have for him? Like he has to go to jail for stuff they did. Yeah, and then he has to hold them down. Nuts. And like, nah, I wouldn't. Anybody in their right mind. Anybody you see criticizing him for snitching, they would have did these same. Most people snitch.
Absolutely.
Snoop Dogg.
Oh, don't do that.
Come on, he had.
Who did he snitch on that?
Remember the murder was a case thing?
Look into the mic. I mean, look into the camera. Say, who did he snitch on?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
The person that ended up going to jail for what he did.
Who went to jail for? What are you talking about?
That was his bodyguard that killed that dude, right?
Allegedly.
So they was just exonerated of all charges.
I mean, hey,
it was acquitted of all charges.
I didn't read the documents. So.
I have no knowledge.
All I know,
I ain't gonna speak bad on you, Snoop.
All I know is Snoop ain't in jail.
All
I know is
this. Like Kanye, don't send shooters at my head. Jay, I know you got killers. Don't send the.
All I know is that
Snoop, man. I don't know.
All I know is that Snoop somehow beat a murder charge.
You got good lawyers, man.
Yeah, he got good lawyers.
Good lawyers.
Yeah.
Best movie since 2010.
And T.I. got arrested for like owning like military weapons.
Best movie since 2010.
And got out in like 2 months.
Uncle Tip, man, I don't know much, bro. I don't know nothing.
Yeah, Tip's gonna check our hymens next.
That was a big story in 2019.
That was weird.
Best movie since 2010. Go. Your favorite movie?
I don't really watch movies.
You don't watch movies?
Sorry, I was playing. I don't know, man.
Like, what came out?
They had something in the past 10
Black
years.
Panther.
Matter of fact, I know.
I have the list of movies that came out.
I know the best movie that came out since 2010. Goddamn, Snow on the Bluff.
Snow on the Bluff.
Snow on the Bluff.
That's the best movie.
Because everybody was like, yo, is this real? Did this really happen? Like, no.
It's like, no, nigga.
It was like,
You
I
idiot.
kind of want to believe it, though.
Moonlight was good.
I didn't see Moonlight. Was it really good?
Yeah, Moonlight was good.
You know what? The Planet of the Apes series was really good. It was really, really good.
Wasn't bad.
It's my jam. It's my jam.
I will say this.
Get Out was good.
For
Get
our
Out was
podcasts, we need the marketing team that Joker had because they did a
They really did.
They did a well executed job of playing into outrage culture.
Yeah,
because especially for some of the terms that they were using. Because as we talked about in the previous episode, we're talking about the incel guys saying that Joker was the poster child for incel because he didn't get the girl and he felt sorry way and this that and that. I'm like, what? Did y'all not see the movie? But then when you started thinking about it, I was like, yeah, that's some good marketing there because they fabricated a nice outrage.
Yes. But the thing about the movie Joker for me is that a lot of movies are like shock for shock and awe. Mm-hmm. The Joker took a situation that could literally happen and made that's the part of the Joker that was really eerie for me. But I thought the movie was massively made.
Oh, absolutely. I agree
made.
100%. I mean, shout out to Joaquin Phoenix and
shout out
to Todd Phillips.
He's gonna win. He's gonna win.
Yeah. He's gonna win big for them. Because I was just watching it again. I think it was the other night, and I was like, yeah, they killed it for that one. Because, like I said, of course I'm a big comic fan, and I'm of course big Joker fan. So it's like I understood all the lore that went behind it as in regards to the influences as far as the story goes. I think it was Killing Joke, and I think it was something else, but morally just Killing Joke.
Yeah.
So it's like you see the movie and understand everything that's going. Well, hopefully I'm not about to spoil it for anybody. So
it came out.
Spoiler alert, whatever. So it's like once
you
you see it and you start questioning, like, okay, so you can tell this thing, the stuff with Zazie Beetz clearly didn't happen. That was all in his head.
Right.
And then even going to stuff with Thomas Wayne. But if you knew Killing Joke, you know that the Joker is a terrible. Well, he's impulsive liar. He's terrible at narrating. Yeah. And then more so, the fact is that as far as his origin story goes, he prefers it to be a multiple choice. Yeah. So it's like he can just tell you whatever.
Even on the one with Heath Ledger, like they kept asking what happened to your face, and he has a different story to everybody.
So to say all that to say, that whole movie probably never happened.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, oh, that's so trippy.
Yeah,
that's so trippy. I like that. I love it.
The Room, obviously.
That was what he said?
It had to come out in 2010, right? Because Disaster Artist came out in 2017.
Hold on, which
Disaster Artist? Yeah.
So The Room had to have come out like.
It was 2007, 2005 when it came out.
Can you look up and see what The Room came? Savon, can you?
Savon and Scream Man.
STD.
Scream Man.
Scream Man.
If you don't watch JBP, like, you should.
Y'all don't watch the pod?
If you don't, you should. Let's see. The Room.
Was it Tom?
2003.
2003? I didn't know it came out that long ago. Yeah, Tommy was up.
Disaster Artist is my jam.
Yeah.
Me and my wife went and saw that. Like, we saw it.
Like, y'all need to see The Room.
Yeah. I watched The Room.
You seen it?
I watched it on YouTube.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
It was like they did such a good job of showing how terrible that movie was. With the making of, like, if you didn't see Disaster Artist, that's probably one of the most underrated movies.
I went to the movies to see The Room.
I saw it in the movie.
Yes.
You saw The Room in the movies?
Yes.
We were supposed to see it last. Was it last year or this past year?
That was last
year.
year.
Yeah, last year. But
which movie theater did you go to?
What is that? The Terrace Theater.
James Allen?
Did they put it on after the Disaster Artist came out?
Yeah.
People were like, there's no way the movie could be this bad. And it's that bad. It's that bad. It's that bad.
Yeah. Well, what made The Room so popular is that one year, I feel like it was back in 2012, maybe. Cartoon Network on
they did.
On April Fool's Day. Instead of playing their entire Adult Swim lineup, so if you look on the TV Guide or whatever, or like the guide, it would say like, oh, the Boondocks going this time, then followed by Family Guy, then everything else. It's like instead of those shows actually coming on, it was just The Room back to back to back. So you just go there, it's like, oh man, the Boondocks come on tonight, new episode of the Boondocks. The Room. Back to back.
That's nuts.
It's like, why is this movie so bad?
That's nuts.
It's like, oh, hi, Mark.
That's nuts.
It's tearing me apart.
It's tearing me apart. Y'all got. If you haven't seen it, you'll get it when you see it.
So,
a lot of y'all won't. All right. Let's see what we got. But yeah. So I mean, it's a lot. So I wanted to. I think that's all the topics we're going to cover. I know it's already getting late, and you got to drive to Greenville.
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's go ahead and wrap this thing a little bit. So moving into 2020, what are you looking forward to?
Of course, getting skinny again, then fat. Let's see.
I like it.
Of course, more episodes from the podcast. More creativity with that, because I think we'll, after our listener review episode, we'll go ahead and close it out there, and then start up season 2.
Nice.
Sometime in the first quarter. And other than that, new streams of revenue as always. I may take my own advice, going back from a previous episode, and start really going more that spiritual path and get right with that. Hopefully, I can.
About to open a mega church.
Definitely.
Use your exegetical license when you do.
I'm actually already an ordained minister.
So what are you looking forward to in 2020?
I am ordained minister. I am. I would have brought my actual documentation.
What are you looking forward to in
I thought it'd be on
2020?
your phone.
Huh?
I thought you did.
Yeah, I do have it on my phone, but my phone's on 1%.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
We don't want your phone to die.
Yeah.
If you had an iPhone, I could just plug it up.
Yeah,
but you don't. You be green screening. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, Children of the Internet podcast will be a much more popular podcast next year.
Definitely.
Like exponentially more popular. Like people be talking about it, asking us about it. You'll get recognized in places like.
You'll be getting recognized in places, sir.
Oh no, I already get recognized in places. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
come on,
Clearly.
man. Yeah,
Somebody know.
You'll be getting recognized in places, Mike.
Hey,
Like,
wow.
oh, I've heard that voice somewhere before. Are you Mike? Are you Creflo? So I'm looking forward to that.
Uh-huh.
You know, I'm looking forward to like seeing my fans out in public.
His fans.
Yeah. I'm looking
Just for you.
I'm looking forward to the Children of the Internet podcast being a stream of revenue. Like that's gonna be great.
Dope.
Having that extra stream of revenue coming in every month, and then it being something coming from something that we love. I'm looking forward to losing weight next year.
Right.
So that's gonna be great.
Then getting fat too again.
No.
Okay, all right.
Not looking forward to getting fat.
I mean, I don't look forward to it.
Yeah, so looking forward to losing weight next year. Getting in shape, lower blood pressure, lower stress levels. Looking forward to making more money next year, so that's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to, I don't know, I get engaged next year. You know.
Do it, man.
Yeah, looking forward to going to Mike's engagement party next year.
Engagement to the money? Yeah, I'm married. That's what I am.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all gonna, however it ends up working out for Mike, but I'm looking forward to whatever
this goes.
his things
Man.
gonna be.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to celebrating a lot of my friends are they're having their first child. So I'm looking forward to going to like a series of baby showers and a series of like births for like guys at this point. Like it's not my homegirls or my brother. You know, it's like my homies are actually having kids, stuff like that. So
That's dope, man.
I'm excited for that.
That's a wave.
Yeah. Excited for everything that's to come with all the other organizations I'm a part of.
Yeah.
Xi Lambda.
Shout out.
Low Country Youth Services in
Yep.
DC. You know, things of that nature. And then I'm excited for all the exciting, but I know they're gonna be exciting but strenuous career changes that are to come next year. So
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
Just want to keep traveling again because I've been on a nice little run for these last 2 years ever since I got my passport. So I've been putting to good use, whether it be music festivals, catching these carnivals, just whatever. I just want to get out and see some more of the world.
I'm looking forward to visiting Will along with Mike in California.
Shout out to Will.
That's gonna be cool.
Go
But
St.
yeah,
Dunes.
I actually got some traveling to get out of my way. You know, here in the next hour. Yeah, so I'm gonna go to Memphis to celebrate the New Year. So.
Oh, word.
And then I'm gonna go and head out to New Orleans.
Word. That's dope.
Yeah.
As for me, 2019 was dope. I had a lot of highs, man. I've spoken about it. If you want to know about it, I actually talked about it on my podcast episode 38 special, where I talked about my birthday. And just it's been a great year of gains for me and for my family. A lot of personal, professional advancements that I'm really proud of. God has really blessed me and my family. I'm really excited about that. 2020, man, is just taking it to the next level. Being an even better version of myself. Not looking at anybody else's competition, but just seeing myself and trying to be the best version of me that I can possibly be. Whatever that means, professionally, spiritually, emotionally, financially. I want to be the best version of myself that I can possibly be. And I'm going to do that in 2020. How will I do it? You got to stay tuned to find out. But thank you to everybody who's watched Real Talk with Rajon.
Do some shout outs.
Do that.
All right. Shout out to Miosha McDaniel.
Oh, you know music? That's my girl. That's my girl. I love music. Go ahead.
I know she watched us.
She does?
She's like, I saw you on there. Like,
wow, music. I love you. Please put out music. Please put out an album. Please.
Oh, and some shout out Miosha McDaniel. Shout out to the Custom Jar.
Shout out to Justin.
Miosha's new business. So so if you need flyware, similar. Well, we ain't got on no Custom Jar stuff, but
not yet.
Custom made clothing.
Send me some stuff. I'll wear it.
It's very dope. thecustomjar.com. Check it out. Yeah.
You got any shout outs you want to?
Shout out to Nis for watching.
Thank you. Shout out to Shari. Shout out to the bros. Let's see who else.
Is anybody watching that wants a shout out?
I mean, shout out to our fans. Most importantly, because we wouldn't be here without y'all.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And that's all I got.
I had to see how many people watch.
Right now it's 2 people.
Yeah.
But what happens is, so like, and I'm rapping, but so what'll happen is I'll go back and I'll look and it'd be like 300 people that watch. Like, but right now they show me 2, and I'm like, okay, cool. But maybe people will come in and go out, and then they'll listen to the whole thing later. And of course, I put it on the podcast, so this will show up on my YouTube page, all my podcast sites, and my website.
I can do.
So, I broadcast on over 13 platforms now. I think it's 13. But we'll see. All right, but thank you guys so much for joining. Thank y'all for joining me, man. Like, this has been really fun for me. I feel like this is like an unofficial Children of the Internet episode, and I was a part of it. So I don't have any commercials or anything like that. Yeah. But y'all are dope.
If you want to send me the WAV file, I'll upload it to our Podbean account.
I definitely would.
We'll share you some of the money with you.
I definitely would. Yeah. Y'all make money?
I mean, if we had made the money we made next year.
Word.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
No, like I'm really a fan. I want to emphasize this again. Children of the Internet, man. It's literally, and I don't say this because I'm friends with Byron. I say this because I'm a really big fan of the show. The first time he sent it to me, he told me he had a podcast, and I was like, well, let me check it out. And I think the first episode I listened to was a FOMO Fest episode, which to me is still the funniest thing I've ever heard. Like, I still love that episode. I still love everything that came after it. Brian will tell you, while I'm listening to the episode, I'm texting him all through it, like giving him my comments and stuff. I'm a big fan. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys do in the future. Y'all are a wave that's coming, and they gotta get ready for y'all. I definitely believe, like what you say, as far as becoming more recognizable in the community and things like that. You guys, y'all gonna go beyond this thing. Y'all gonna be one of the top ones because you actually put time into the craft. And anytime you put time into the craft, that 10,000 hours thing, shout out to Malcolm Gladwell. It's gonna bring itself to fruition. So shout out to them. Check out the Children of the Internet podcast anywhere you can find podcasts. I listen on iTunes. So if you have Apple, you can listen to it there. Spotify, SoundCloud, Podbean, Stitcher.
Apple, Google Play,
Google Podcasts. Anywhere you can find podcasts. Yep. Check them out. They're dope.
What's your boys' podcast?
Colorful Language. Yep. Shout out to my LB, Sean Porche.
All right, Colorful Language. Go check it out.
Also, shout out to some other local Charleston podcasts. Shout out to the Coffee and Duchess podcast, as well as Time TNL. Shout out to Bray Richardson's new podcast. Shout out to the Brutally Honest podcast. And shout out to Real Talk Rajon.
Word.
Yeah. And shout out to the creatives.
Word. Yeah. Shout out to the creatives. Indeed.
This was our year.
This definitely is.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. And thank you so much for watching this week. Reminder that the show is now split into 2 parts. On Wednesdays at 7 p.m., I am interviewing my local celebrities. And on Sundays at 7 p.m., was my normal live show. This week, I am actually not doing a local celebrity spotlight because I think it falls on New Year's Day, and I'm going to be kicking it with my family because that's what we do. If you are doing something in the community that you would like a light shined on, please reach out to me on my website. That's www.realtalkwithrajon.com. That's www.realtalkwithrajon.com, and we can discuss getting you in the show. This and all my shows, in addition to the Car Chronicles series, is now available for your listening via Apple, Google, Spotify, and any place you can find podcasts. You can also find it on my website, www.realtalkwithrajan. If you'd like to be made aware of when I go live, because sometimes it is unscheduled, please be sure to click on the follow or subscribe tab and turn on the notifications so that you'll know when something new has been posted to the page. In the meantime, please follow me on social media to stay up to date on what's happening with Real Talk with Rajan. On Twitter, I'm at Real Talk Rajan. On Facebook, I'm at Real Talk with Rajan. YouTube, Real Talk with Rajan. Periscope, Real Talk Rajan. Instagram, Real Talk Rajan. Feel free to leave questions, comments, or whatever else you'd like to in the comments and message section. I really love reading your messages, even when they're negative. If you listen to the show, if you watch the show and you like it, say, hey, Rajan, I listened to your show, I like it, and here's why. If you listen to it and you hated it, tell me, Rajan, I listened, I hated it, here's why. Because I don't want people to just tell me how great I am. I want to be the best that I can be. And I can only do that with your help. I am also currently accepting invitations for speaking engagements and event hosting opportunities. If you would like me to speak at or host your event, you can request me through my website. You guessed it, www.realtalkwithrajan.com. Always remember, God is everything, and without him, we are nothing, so never forget where your help comes from. And if a man doesn't stand for something, he's bound to fall for anything. Now that's real talk. I will see y'all next week. Peace.